Tara, welcome to my YouTube channel, and if you've been here before, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I have honestly picked up the camera and tried to film this video so many times for several months now, and I just haven't felt like I knew the right thing to say. I haven't felt like I knew the right way to come back. But today I finally woke up and I thought I'm just going to turn on the camera, I'm going to start filming, and I'm just going to go with the flow and sort of see what happens. I'm so excited to be filming YouTube again, and I really want to come back. So I'm so excited to be making this first step today. If you guys have never seen me before and you have no idea what I'm talking about, just a quick recap. I started this YouTube channel back in January of 2019, and throughout 2019 I filmed and uploaded videos all throughout 2019 and continue to do that all the way up until April of 2020. And then in April of 2020, I stopped filming and uploading, and then a couple months later went back into my YouTube channel and deleted all of my old videos. And that is simply just because I feel like my old content I wasn't super proud of. I didn't really like my old content. And also I feel like my old content wasn't really a good representation of who I am. It didn't really show my true personality, and that is something that I really want to do this time around on my YouTube. So that was one of the main reasons. Another main reason for deleting my videos is because I knew that one day I might want to come back to YouTube, and eventually will come back to YouTube. And I knew that when I did that, I wanted to come back with a fresh, clean start. 2020, I think I can speak for everyone when I say that 2020 has changed everyone's life. 2020 was a year that nobody expected, and it has changed us all as people, and I think it has also changed the world as a whole around us. And so for me personally, that isn't any different. I have gone through so many changes, and I have really changed and grown as a person, and I definitely wanted to come back onto YouTube as the person that I am now and not the person that I was in 2019 and beginning of 2020, because they are two very different, completely different people. And yeah, I wanted to come back and show you guys who I am now. I hope that makes sense. But like I said, I haven't filmed or uploaded since April of 2020, so it's been a while, so please bear with me on this video. If you guys don't already know me or don't follow me on Instagram or anything like this, you're probably pretty confused. But if you are a family or friend, or you just know of me, or you've been subscribed to this YouTube channel for a while, you guys will probably know that one of the biggest changes to happen to me in 2020 was that Aiden and I found out in July of last year that we were expecting a baby. So I am currently, when filming this, I'm currently 35 weeks pregnant. I'm going to be 36 weeks pregnant tomorrow, which is actually crazy to me. It has gone by so quickly. I feel like I have blinked and I've been through my entire pregnancy already. But I am currently 35 weeks pregnant and 6 days, if anybody cares about the days. So I will be 36 weeks tomorrow. And when I thought about coming back to YouTube, I thought about sitting down and filming a video where I explain to you guys where I've been and talk your guys' ear off about what happened in 2020 and where I went, why I left, and all of that. But I thought that that might just be a little bit boring. And for those of you who do follow me on Instagram, I have received a lot of questions and comments about my pregnancy and wanting to know a little bit about my pregnancy journey. So I thought instead of coming back to YouTube and just boring you guys with where I've been, why I left, what I'm doing with this YouTube channel from now on, I thought instead of doing that and boring you guys, that I would actually sit here and do a Q&A with you guys, talk a bit more about my pregnancy journey with you guys and talk it through with you and sort of explain what it's been like and how it's been going, because since being pregnant, it's kind of consumed my life. It's literally the only thing that I do these days. It's everything that I think about. So it's really consumed my life, and it's kind of all that I've been up to in the last year. So I thought instead of the boring stuff, I would talk to you guys about the fun stuff. So in this video today, I am going to be sharing my pregnancy journey with you guys and answer some of your questions. I thought while doing this, however, to make it a little bit more fun and spice up the video a little bit more, that I would do my hair and makeup while I'm talking to you guys. I have nowhere to go. I pretty much can't leave my house at the moment because I am so heavily pregnant right now that it's very, very difficult to drive. It's very, very difficult to leave my house by myself. So I have nowhere to go, but I really did just feel like playing with some makeup and doing my hair today, and I thought, what better way to make a YouTube video and do that at the same time, and that way you guys can do your hair and makeup or sit back and relax with a coffee and watch this. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I hope that you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, comment down below if you guys have any video ideas that you want to see me do, and of course, turn on that post notification bell if you want to know when I'm posting. Let's just get into it. So if you see me looking over here, I have my laptop open over here, and that's where I have the questions that you guys asked me on Instagram. So if you see me looking over here, I do apologize. I'll try not to look too much, but please bear with me. So we found out that we were pregnant on July 4th of 2020, but leading up to that day, I barely had any symptoms. I wouldn't really say I had a whole lot of symptoms that pointed towards pregnancy, because when I did find out, I was very, very shocked because I didn't actually believe that there was even a chance I could be pregnant. So basically, beginning of June, I want to say, I reckon around the first 2 or 3 weeks, every time I was eating food, for about an hour after eating, it felt like I was going to throw up and pass out every single time. And I tried so many different things. I tried taking out certain foods in my diet to see if it was like an allergy sort of issue, but that didn't help. I tried lots and lots of things. So I ended up booking a doctor's appointment for, I think, like the 4th week of June or something like that. So I ended up booking a doctor's appointment to try and find out what was wrong, but I kind of was just dealing with this feeling until my doctor's appointment. And I remember one day, it's so funny, I remember one day I was at work and I said to a colleague of mine that every time I ate, I felt like I was going to throw up and pass out, and she actually made a joke and was like, you could be pregnant, and sort of laughed it off and made that joke. And when she said that, I was like, no, there's no way that I could be pregnant, like that's not possible. So I kind of just didn't really think much of it. So I had this symptom for probably around about like 2.5 weeks, and then the symptom just completely disappeared. So I didn't even think anything of it. I was like, I could have had this stomach bug. It could have been anything. I work in childcare, so I get sick so often, especially like during the winter months and stuff like that. I seriously get so sick when I'm working. So for me, I was like, oh, it could have been a cold, it could have been a stomach bug. It's gone now, so it doesn't really matter. And I actually never ended up going to that doctor's appointment, which now I probably should have gone to that doctor's appointment, but I didn't. I thought that I felt better, so I was like, I don't need to go and waste the doctor's time if I'm feeling great now. So I ended up not going to that doctor's appointment. And then it was the first week of July, and I was about 7 days late of my period. Also, this video may be a little bit TMI, so if you're a family member and you don't want to hear about all the gross stuff, maybe just click off this video and watch the next one. But yeah, so I was about 7 days late on my period, which isn't abnormal for me, but it's also not normal. So when I was in primary school, I never had a regular period ever. Like my period was always irregular in primary school and sort of halfway through high school. And I tried so many different remedies. I tried the pill, which did not work for me at all. I tried so many different remedies and it didn't work. And then I think eventually around about year 10, I went off of the pill completely and things started to go to normal and I started having like a regular period. So I probably had a regular period for about 3 and a bit years before this time. So in my mind, when I hadn't had my period for 7 days, I was like, maybe my body's just, stressed, or maybe my body is going back to how I was in primary school. We'll see how we go. And I kind of just left it. I'm going to start applying concealer. I'm using the Fit Me concealer from Maybelline New York. This is a shade Fair. I really like the Maybelline products. A lot of my makeup is Maybelline. Love these products so much. So yeah, Aiden sort of was the one that approached me and was like, you're 7 days late on your period. Do you think that you could be pregnant? And I was like, no, I don't think so. Like, I kind of it didn't really cross my mind. However, me and Aiden went food shopping that day, and I was like, we'll just get some pregnancy tests just to be sure, to kind of rule it out, and then I guess I'll go to the doctors and find out why I'm late. So that sort of was our plan. We went to the shops, we got the tests, and then we came back and I took the tests. I went and took the tests into the bathroom, and I took my first pregnancy test. Now, on my first pregnancy test, I took the test and waited the 3 minutes like you're supposed to, and it came up with nothing. Like, it had no 2 lines, it had no 1 line, it had nothing. It just was completely blank. So obviously we got like a dud test. And so I went out and I told Aiden, and we decided we were going to wait until the next morning to test. But then it literally, we were sitting there and it was like all I could think about, and it really was just messing with my mind. Like, it's a hard thing to like sort of put aside and pretend like it's not happening. So I think it was around about 11:30 at night, I want to say, I finally couldn't handle it anymore. I was like, I need to know what the heck is going on. So I decided to go and take a pregnancy test, which if you guys have ever taken a pregnancy test before, or you know anything about taking pregnancy tests, you're actually supposed to wait until the morning to take your pregnancy test, because that is like your first morning pee, and so the HCG hormone is the strongest in the morning when you first wake up. And so I decided to take this test at like 11:30 at night, so really the results shouldn't have really been that accurate. But I took the test and I remember putting it down on the sink, washing my hands, and again, you're supposed to wait like 3 to 5 minutes before looking at the result, so that it can like get all of the hormone and stuff and then really have an accurate reading. But I remember putting it down, washing my hands, and looking at it, like peeking to see, and it already had like a bold, strong positive. I'm going to put a photo of the test here. Yeah, so as you can see, it was like a strong, bold positive. Like, there was no faint line, there was no like half a line. It was a complete bold positive, and I knew for a fact in that moment that I was pregnant. I definitely, when I first looked at the test, I thought that my reaction would have been a little bit different. I sort of just looked at it and was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually pregnant. I definitely was in like a giant state of shock. And then for some reason, my first reaction, I actually have no idea, was to take that photo of the pregnancy test. I took the photo of the pregnancy test. I have no idea why that was my first reaction, but it's what I did. And then I sat on the bathroom floor and I was just like, definitely super in shock. Like, I obviously was excited. I work with children for a living. I'm very passionate about children and their growth and development and stuff. And so I was like very shocked, but also very excited. I've always wanted to be a mum. So yeah, I was just really in a state of shock and excitement. And then the next thing to cross my mind was how I was going to tell Aiden. So as much as I would love to sit here and tell you that it was some romantic, really cute way that I told Aiden, it actually wasn't that romantic at all. But that's reality. Sometimes things in our head don't always plan out the way we want them to. I remember like being younger and watching people on YouTube announce to their husbands or boyfriends that they're pregnant, and it was super cute. People like lay out onesies in the pregnancy test to surprise their partner or give them gifts, and I would have loved to have done something like that, and maybe if we ever have another child, I might do something like that. But the issue with it is that Aiden was literally in the next room, and he knew that the reason for me going to the bathroom was to take the pregnancy test. So I knew I either had to come out and lie to him and tell him that it was a negative, or I had to tell him the truth. And I am someone who is terrible at lying. I cannot lie at all. I literally like am the worst at it. But when it comes to Aiden, I am especially bad at lying. Like, I don't know what it is, but Aiden can literally read every facial expression and everything on my face, and he can literally know something's wrong or know I'm lying just by looking at me. I don't know what it is, but somehow he manages to do it. So I cannot lie to Aiden about anything. It makes surprising him for his birthday and stuff super, super hard. I always end up telling Aiden his Christmas presents or his birthday presents because I'm just terrible at lying to him about them. So I knew that I was really, really going to struggle going out there and telling him that it was a negative. So the only way that I really thought I was going to get out of it was I called Aiden to the bathroom. He came in the bathroom and I showed him the pregnancy test. And it's actually quite funny that when he looked at the pregnancy test, he didn't know what he was reading. So I could have actually told him that it was a negative and he probably wouldn't have realized. But I showed him the pregnancy test and I said to him, I'm pregnant. And I think we both were just in a really huge state of shock. And something that I really, really want to mention, I'm just going to start doing my foundation while I talk about this. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. This is the Matte Poreless. I love this foundation so much. I think it's such a good coverage. This one is a little bit too light for my skin, by the way. I am aware. I usually get the 110 shade, but this is actually 102. When I went to the shops, I picked this up thinking it was the 110, didn't even look, and then I ended up picking up the wrong one, but it still is good. It's just a little bit light for my skin. Something that I think that people need to normalize a bit more is that it's not always like it is in the movies. Like, in the movies they show, you show your partner that you're pregnant and you're gonna jump up and down and you're gonna be so excited and it's gonna be this really cute romantic moment. And when it comes to reality, sometimes it's not always like that. Finding out that you're having a baby is a very, very big deal, and it's something that you really, really have to sort of adjust to the idea. And so when I told Aiden, I think both of us were in really like a huge state of shock. Aiden, he hugged me and he told me that he loved me. And then sort of for the rest of the night, we were just both very, very quiet. It wasn't like the movies. We didn't cry and jump into each other's arms. Obviously, we were both very, very happy and we were both very, very excited. But like I said, finding out that you're having a child is a really, really big deal. And it's a lot of responsibility and it's a lot to come to terms with. And so I think we just sort of spent the night being very quiet and kept to ourselves a little bit, just sort of getting used to the idea. And then I think it was later that night, Aiden sort of came into the bedroom and I was in the bedroom, and we both sort of eventually came back together and sort of spoke about our excitement and sort of our worries and what was, terrifying us. And I honestly wouldn't change it for anything. I obviously, like I said, it would have been nice to have some romantic, like jump into your arms like they do in the movies and cry. But in reality, like I said, having a baby is something that is like a really, really big deal. And sometimes it just takes some time to get your head around. And then seriously, from that point, Aiden has been the most excited and I have been the most excited. And we literally started on the nursery. We started planning, we started prepping very, very early on. Like, we pretty much had his nursery all set up and ready to go by like the 4th month. So we started very, very quickly because we were so excited and just really, really wanted to get into it. But that's just the reality. Like, sometimes it's not like it is on the movies, or it's not like it is like our YouTube videos and think that that's what it is. But you have to remember that most of those things are sort of staged, or not staged, but more dramatized for your viewing. And in reality, like, this is the realness of it. And I wouldn't change it for the world. We still literally, I remember falling asleep that night that we found out that we were pregnant, the happiest person alive. And I knew that it was the right timing for us and we were very, very happy. And I wouldn't change it for the world. It just wasn't some TV moment. So with most pregnancies, most people wait like a couple of weeks when they're like around about 8 or 9 weeks to tell their family, and then they announce at about 12 weeks. When it came to telling our families, however, we ended up telling my family within the week of us finding out that we were pregnant. So, and again, I would love to say it was some really cute way that we told them and stuff like that, but unfortunately, again, reality, it did not happen in any cute way. The first person to find out was my mum, because immediately when I got the positive on the test, I immediately went and booked a doctor's appointment to get blood tests and blah, 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 because I knew that I had to do that. So I immediately went and did that. And then I called my mum and said that I had a doctor's appointment on the Monday. So I found out Saturday night, which was July 4th. And then on the Monday, I had a doctor's appointment booked. And I called my mum and I said, could you come with me to my doctor's appointment? Because I am petrified of needles. I hate needles. To me, they're absolutely terrifying. And my mum usually comes to my doctor's appointments. I know I'm a full-grown adult, but my mum usually comes to my doctor's appointments with me, especially when I'm getting needles, and she holds my hand. It's just kind of always been like that, and I like it, so, don't judge. And so I went to my mum's house and picked her up on the Monday, and when I got to my mum's house, mum was like, so why are we getting a blood test again? And I said, I just haven't been feeling that well lately. And mum was like, me and mum are very, very close. So mum was like, you told me a couple of weeks ago that you were feeling better. And I was like, and again, I stumbled. I'm terrible at lying. And mum was like, what's really going on? And so I ended up just saying, Mum, I'm pregnant. And my mum was so, so excited. She literally started crying. She hugged me. She was very, very happy. So mum ended up crying and hugging me and stuff like that. So then mum found out. And while we were driving to the doctors, I was telling my mum because, so on the Saturday night is when we found out that we were pregnant. And then that Sunday, I actually had plans to go to my older sister's house to meet with both my middle sister and my older sister, because my middle sister Jess was getting married. Middle sister Jess got married in December of 2020. And I was a bridesmaid. And I was telling mum on the way to the doctors how I was at my older sister's house. We're hanging out with both my sisters, and we were trying on bridesmaid dresses because I was a bridesmaid and stuff like that. And so we were trying on bridesmaid dresses to see what would fit and what alterations needed to be made and that kind of thing. And I was telling mum how Jess wanted to alter my bridesmaid dress, and I couldn't tell her that I was pregnant because I wasn't ready to tell her that I was pregnant yet, but she wanted to get my dress altered, and she was going to go to the alteration place that week and get my dress altered. So I knew I had to tell her eventually. So my mum was like, you just need to rip it off and do it. So I ended up calling my sister when we got out of the doctor's after my blood test, seeing if she was home. She was home, so me and mum went over. And I just told my sister. My sister was very, very shocked, but she was very, very happy for me. And yeah, she had a lot of questions for me, which I knew some of the answers to and I didn't. And that was kind of scary. She did ask me a lot of questions. But at the end of the day, she was very excited to have either a niece or nephew coming into the world, and she seemed very happy and very supportive, which was good. As we were leaving, she did say to me, can I tell my fiance? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so then we left and I drove my mum back home, and I got a call from my sister Jess, and she said, I told her fiance that you were pregnant, and he was very excited and happy for you, but he then called Chris, which is my older sister's fiance. And I hadn't told my older sister yet. So then I was like, So then I left my mum's and went straight to my older sister's house. And my middle sister Jess actually met me at my older sister's house. We both told her together, and my older sister again had a lot of questions for me. But at the end of the day, was very happy to have a niece or nephew coming into the world. So they were all very, very supportive, which is great. And then obviously that was within like 2 days of finding out that we were pregnant. And then the only other people that we had to tell was Aiden's side of the family and also my dad. I personally didn't want to tell my dad until I knew for sure how far along I was, if it was even real, that kind of thing. So I told my dad on the Thursday of that week, so it was about 4 days later. I went over and told him myself. And he was very, very shocked again, but he was very, very happy. My dad was kind of speechless and didn't really know what to say. And then that weekend, Aiden told his family that I was pregnant, and everyone was very, very excited. His mum was literally screaming on the phone and was very, very happy. His sister was very excited for him, and yeah, they all have been very, very supportive and very, very happy about it. So we are so, so thankful. But most people do usually wait like a long time, but we told pretty much our entire family in the gist of about a week, and then we announced on social media at, I think, 12 weeks, I reckon it was. I think it was 12 weeks when we finally announced on social media. But our families did know from the week of finding out that we were pregnant. So it happened very, very quickly. But yes, they were very supportive and very, very happy for us. I'm just going to put a little bit of concealer on my eyes. And then I'm going to move on to eyeshadow. The eyeshadow that I'll be using is the James Charles palette. And I'm just going to do something like natural, nothing too big. So I am very, very lucky because my pregnancy has been pretty unproblematic. I've had a few issues here and there, but overall I've had a pretty good pregnancy, which I'm very, very happy about. I did have morning sickness for about maybe a month, and that was in my first trimester. So when I first found out that I was pregnant and I got the blood test results back, I was about 6 weeks pregnant. And so I started getting morning sickness around 7-8 weeks. But my morning sickness wasn't like normal morning sickness, if that makes sense. So my morning sickness actually was like, I would be sick for 2 days, like every morning, and it was only morning time, whereas some women have morning sickness literally throughout the whole day. My morning sickness lasted just for the morning from like when I woke up until about like 10, then it would stop. And my morning sickness, I would have like 2 days of morning sickness and then 2 days without morning sickness and then 2 days of morning sickness again. And I kind of worked in that pattern for about a month and then it just disappeared, which I'm very, very lucky for. I have like a huge, like, I wouldn't say phobia, but I don't like throwing up. It makes me super uncomfortable. I hate it. I mean, I don't think anyone likes throwing up, but I really just like, my body for some reason forces itself not to throw up or like tries to fight throwing up. So that was a bit frustrating. Other than that, my first trimester was pretty good. Like, other than the morning sickness, the worst thing, I think 2 weeks of my pregnancy was coming out of my first trimester into my second trimester. So at around about like 8 or I think it was like 9 or 10 weeks, I was still having morning sickness at this stage. I ended up getting like a cold or a flu. Still not actually sure what it was, but I ended up having the flu or a cold or something because I was literally getting like fevers. I was throwing up, and I was really, really just sick. Like I had stuffy nose and everything, and it was really, really bad. And so I got really sick. And also during those 2 weeks of me being sick, I got food poisoning, I reckon, because Aiden and I had ordered Chinese one night and I had honey chicken and Aiden had something as well, and Aiden was actually sick and I was sick too. So I had morning sickness, I had the flu or something, and food poisoning all in the same week. And I honestly, it was absolutely horrible. I felt so, so sick. That was probably the worst experience of my pregnancy that I've had. And then I think in my second trimester, I was about probably like 15 or 16 weeks. Aiden and I went to a shop and we were at this shop, and I remember like walking in, I was feeling fine. I remember walking around the shop and feeling like a little bit funny, like a little bit like hot and kind of sick, like I was going to throw up, but I was like, I'm going to be okay. And we actually got to the checkout and Aiden was going to pay for what we were buying. And I remember sitting down on the floor at the cash register, which is really embarrassing. I remember sitting down on the floor and Aiden said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I feel like passing out, like I don't feel good." So Aiden said to the cashier, "I'm going to take her to the car and come back and pay for this. Is that okay?" The cashier was like, "Yeah, of course." And he sort of helped me up, and he started walking me to the door, and I actually collapsed and passed out. And then we called an ambulance and I went to hospital that night. Throughout my whole life, I've had really, really low iron in like just in general. I have anemia and very, very low iron, and pregnancy has made that way worse. So I went to the hospital, found out that my iron levels were kind of a little bit low, but they weren't actually that bad. Mainly, they just could only put it down to the fact that it was a fainting episode. That's all that they could say it was. They didn't really have any, like, because my iron was low, but not low enough to be too concerned. So yeah, they just simply put it down to the fact that it was just a fainting episode and that this might happen throughout my pregnancy. And it did actually end up happening one more time. I was at home, luckily, because it's so embarrassing passing out in public, by the way. The most embarrassing thing ever. But I did end up passing out once more at home in the kitchen. Aiden was actually napping, and I was napping too, but I woke up because I was super thirsty. I went to the kitchen, and I just remember waking up on the kitchen floor, and then I like crawled back to bed and told Aiden that I'd passed out. But thankfully that hasn't happened since those moments. It stopped, which thank freaking God, because it honestly was like the worst feeling. I hate throwing up and passing out. It's honestly the worst. So no, that hasn't happened since, and I'm very, very thankful for. My second trimester was great. Like after the passing out episodes, it kind of stopped. I really had like no symptoms. It almost was like I was not pregnant at all. And I didn't have a baby bump to show for it either. I literally only started getting a baby bump at I think like 16, maybe 17 weeks pregnant. But until that point, I really didn't have a baby bump at all. So it almost felt like I wasn't pregnant at all. So my second trimester was pretty great. And now that I'm in my third trimester and almost out of being pregnant, the issues that I'm having now is like hot flashes. I'm super out of breath all the time. Feeling like I can't breathe. Yeah, the hot flashes are really, really bad. Like I literally like full on sweat and go red, even if like I'm sitting in front of a fan or in an aircon. We just recently had a heat wave in Adelaide. I literally suffered so much. Like it was terrible. But other than that, I've been pretty lucky. Like a lot of people have way worse pregnancies than I've had, so I'm very, very lucky that those are the only things. And now I think my biggest issue is I'm struggling to sleep because I'm so big. I'm just going to stand up and give you guys a little bump update. So this is my baby bump at almost 36 weeks. I'm pretty big. The baby is measuring on the 86th percentile. So they're talking about induction and things like that, but nothing's been made clear yet. But he is a very, very big boy, so it's super uncomfortable to sleep. Like I struggle. I have to sort of roll around until I get in the right position, and that kind of sucks. But other than that, my pregnancy has been pretty great, and overall it hasn't been very traumatic. I've had a pretty easy pregnancy other than the little hiccups. And in terms of my iron levels, they got really, really low at one point, and just the Christmas just gone, I had to have 2 sessions of iron infusions, and now that I've had the iron infusions, my iron levels are back to normal. And sorry, someone's car alarm started going off in the units. I don't know why. So yeah, my iron levels now that I've had the 2 infusions are pretty much back to normal, which is really, really good. Hardest thing about being pregnant. I would say for me, the hardest thing, I thrive on consistency. I thrive on routines and structure. I love doing the same thing over and over again, like literally my whole life. I do the same thing over and over again. When I was younger, I would play the same games over and over again. Now, being obsessed with movies and things like that, I watch the same movies and TV shows all the time. I just love consistency and control. I literally eat the same food. I don't like trying new things. And I think it's a control factor. I like having the control of knowing what's happening next, of knowing how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen. I love that control, and not having that, I think, has been the hardest thing of pregnancy. But you can plan your birth, but at the end of the day, it's really all up to your baby. And you really don't have a choice. You can sort of plan when it might happen. So for us, our due date is the 5th of March. But again, he could come before, he could come after, and I really have no control over when or how that happens. Obviously, I have a way that I want to give birth, but at the end of the day, it's whatever's best for my son. And the doctors and him sort of have that choice, and they make that choice for me. So I have really, really struggled with that aspect of pregnancy. But that's something I'm slowly learning throughout this pregnancy. It's just sort of letting what's meant to be. But I think I'm sort of getting used to it. Like when it comes to birth, I think I'm getting used to the idea, hopefully. I don't want to sound corny, but I think the best thing about being pregnant is just the journey and the experience that you have, from even the highs and the lows and the being sick and the good things about it. I think overall it's just experiencing it is so great to me. Being pregnant is something that I've always sort of wanted. I've always wanted to be a mum. So I think finally getting to do that to me is like the best thing ever. But I think some of the greatest moments I've had in life is just like when I felt him kick for the first time, or when I felt him, move for the first time. I felt him had the hiccups for the first time the other day. That was great. And also getting to spend those sweet little moments with Aiden, like when we're at an ultrasound and both of us just like watching our son, and seeing how happy it makes Aiden, and seeing Aiden talk about the future and how he can't wait to do this with his son and this with his son and learn how to do this, and seeing all of that makes me so, so happy. And the moments where Aiden and I are just laying in bed and Aiden will have his head on my stomach or will have his hand on my stomach, and the baby's kicking Aiden and Aiden can feel it, and seeing Aiden gets a little bit grossed out by it, but also seeing the excitement in Aiden's face is just so, so good to me. I love it so much. I think that's the best thing about pregnancy overall, is just the experience and the journey of it, and getting to have my own experience to then share with people in the future and that kind of thing. So no, I think that's the best thing about being pregnant. Weird cravings. I haven't actually had the weirdest cravings. Everyone told me when I first got pregnant, like, oh, look out for, the weird food combos and everything that you want. I haven't had that. The only thing that I've had is that foods that I liked before being pregnant, I just want to eat more of being pregnant, if that makes sense. So like I have always liked sour lollies my entire life. Every time we would go to a lolly shop, there's a specific lolly shop here in Adelaide that I love going to. I used to love going to it with my mum. We would probably go like once or twice a year, and I would always get these really, really sour lollies that are imported from, I think, England, and they're honestly like the most sour lollies, and I love them, and I used to get them all the time. However, being pregnant, I have seriously got those sour lollies so much, and I got to a point in my pregnancy where I was eating them so much my tongue started like ripping and bleeding, and Aiden had to literally take them away from me one night and stop me from eating them for a while. And then now I've gotten really good at controlling myself to only having like 2 or 3 a night, so that my tongue doesn't rip to shreds. But I literally could eat like a full packet of those sour lollies and want more. Another thing as well is like everyone loves ice cream. I've loved ice cream my entire life, but being pregnant, I literally can eat like a 4-liter tub of vanilla ice cream in like 2 days. So, and none of this stuff is healthy, I'm aware, please don't come at me, but literally eat it all the time. Strawberry milk, I've been obsessed with strawberry milk lately. Like I've always liked strawberry milk and would have it like on occasion here and there. Now, since being pregnant, I literally started going through like a 2-liter carton of strawberry milk in like a day or two. So I have become more obsessed with things being pregnant, but I haven't had anything weird. I think the questions, I'm going to be doing my hair now. I've just plugged in my straightener, and I'm just going to quickly put part my hair into halves, so it's like half up, half down, and I'm going to put in some Olaplex number 7 bonding oil. I like to use this before I do anything to my hair to kind of stop it from burning. You should really be using like a heat protection, but I don't have any, so that's all I have to use at the moment. So the thing I'm most excited for him being here, I think this question's kind of hard. I think it's just everything. Like, I'm excited to introduce him to his first things. Like, I'm excited to give him his first bath, and when he's older, I'm excited to take him to the zoo for the first time. I'm excited to show him the beach. I'm excited to introduce him to my childhood home. I'm excited to introduce him to, Aiden's younger siblings and, his aunties and uncles and my older sisters, and I'm excited to just experience everything and show him new things, because really it's up to me and Aiden to show him new things. Like, I'm just very, very excited for that. And of course I'm actually excited, which is very weird, and people don't believe me when I say this, ask me in about a year's time and I probably will wish that I had never said this, but I'm actually kind of excited for like his first tantrum and things like that. I worked in childcare, and literally it was the funniest thing when kids would have tantrums over like, I didn't even put that stuff in my hair. When kids would have tantrums over like the dumbest stuff, I literally would try so hard not to laugh at them, because they're just so sweet and innocent and funny. So I'm even looking forward to that, which a lot of people don't believe when I say, but I am actually really looking forward to just like his first tantrum, or his first, like when he first screams at us for the first time, or there's just so many firsts for him that I'm looking forward to being a part of and witnessing. Are you scared about birth? Of course I'm scared about birth. I think anyone is scared about birth. However, I have become quite calm about it. I have my moments where I really, really freak out and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to literally hurt so bad and it is going to be so painful and I'm really going to struggle. I think anyone has those. I feel like if I didn't, that would probably be more concerning. However, I have a very calming peace about it. I'm trying to stay very positive, very strong about it. I know that the doctors that, are going to be helping me deliver have literally studied their whole lives to do it. Some of them have been working in that industry for many, many years. So I just really need to put trust and faith in those doctors that they know what they're doing, and that I'm in the best possible place. I'm feeling pretty calm about it, and also in the fact that I don't know everything. Like I said, you can literally never know what is going to happen. However, my whole life I have watched birth videos, even when I wasn't pregnant, when I was like 10. I was on YouTube watching birth videos. I have studied child development and that kind of thing. So I'm pretty calm about it. However, I do have moments where I break down. I'm like, this is terrifying. I don't know if I can do this. Like, it is really, really scary. But overall, I feel pretty calm and I know I have the support and I know that I will eventually be okay. Literally everyone does it. People give birth every day. And as women, we were pretty much built to do this. Our bodies were made to give birth. So I know that if everyone else can do it, I can do it. My only thing is that I think the thing that scares me the most is I'm very, very terrified of having to have an emergency C-section. But again, whatever's best for my baby, I know that I just need to leave it up to the doctors to do what's best for my baby and also for me. And I've just recently had a friend who had a C-section and her experience was great. She, wasn't in a lot of pain. Her recovery has been really wonderful. The baby was perfectly fine. And so hearing her stories kind of put my mind at ease about having a C-section, but I am still very, very terrified about having to do it. I think the thing that scares me most about C-sections is not actually the C-section in itself, is just being awake for the C-section. Because I feel like even though you won't be able to feel anything because you do get put under like a anesthetic like thing. But even not being able to feel, just having that mindset of me knowing that I'm sitting there and what's happening to me, I think that's going to be the thing that I will struggle with the most. When you're pregnant, you literally have no choice. Once this baby is ready to come out, this baby's gonna come out. Like, you have no choice. And yeah, it scares me a little bit, but like I said, I'm feeling pretty calm and pretty positive. And when I look at my birth, I'm hoping, and I can feel a sense of calming and peace. So hopefully that's a good thing, and that's how it goes. I wouldn't say it's changed my personality though. Like, I feel like I'm still me. I'm still the same person. However, I do feel like everything I have to talk about, like, I have nothing to talk about at the moment unless you're asking me about my pregnancy, because I'm stuck in the same four walls of my house, because it's really, really hard for me to go anywhere unless I have Aiden. So yeah, I guess, I mean, in terms of like things to talk about, it's all I can talk about at the moment is pregnancy and what I've bought for the baby and what I'm going to do when the baby gets here and all that kind of stuff. So I guess in a way it kind of has changed my personality, but I'm still literally the same me. Like, it hasn't, you know, I have, however, developed really good mother instincts, which is so good. I have really good reflexes these days. Like, if I drop something on the floor, I pick it up before it hits the floor. I never used to be able to do that. I was a klutz and everything would break. And now I've gotten really, really good at catching things. So I guess my personality has changed just a little bit. Again, this is one of those questions where if I would be lying if I said no. I think when you get pregnant, everyone stresses about finance because babies are super expensive, let me tell you that. So of course, I was a little bit stressed, and when we first found out that I was pregnant, I was unemployed and Aiden was unemployed, and so it was a little bit scary, but I think at the end of the day, we kind of just had to put the finance aside. Obviously, we had to talk about it, but we kind of just needed to not think about the financial side of things. I needed to think more about actually having a child. So yeah, of course we were scared about finance, but I knew that eventually it would all work out the way it was supposed to. I do believe everything happens for a reason, and there's a perfect timing for everything. And I feel like God, or whoever you believe in, I feel like they wouldn't have given me and Aiden a child if they had known that we weren't capable of taking care of it. Yeah, of course we were scared a little bit about finance, but at the end of the day, you just need to make it work. We aren't the richest, but we survive, and I know that our child will always have what he needs, and will always be comfortable, and we're still going to be able to provide for our child. And at the end of the day, that's all he needs. Money is not what's going to make him happy. Money is not what's going to raise him. We are going to do that. It'll just be, you know, surviving, really. So again, I would have loved to say it was some cute moment. It definitely was a moment I'll never forget. Me and Aiden went to the ultrasound lady told us, and in the ultrasound room, we both were very like, oh, the first thing that I said to Aiden actually was that I told you so, because the minute I found out I was pregnant, literally the night of finding out I was pregnant, I said to Aiden, we're going to have a boy. Aiden was very much like, we can't, you know, don't get your hopes up, don't put money on it, because it could be anything. But I knew pretty much from day dot that it was a boy. And to be honest with you, when I started making the nursery and buying clothes and stuff, I tried to be gender neutral, but I did lean more to buying things for boys because I knew that we were having a boy. It was like a weird mum's intuition. And the first thing that, when the lady told us at the ultrasound place that it was a boy, the first thing I did was point at Aiden and say, I told you so, because that's just who I am. But I was very, very happy. My whole life thought that I wanted a girl, but then the minute that I knew I was having a boy, I literally wouldn't change it for the world. I am so, so happy. I think I grew up around a bunch of sisters, so I feel like now having a boy, it's something to challenge me. It's something new. I didn't really grow up around a lot of boys. I grew up around mostly girls, and so it's a whole new challenge. It's a whole new world, basically. I have like a giant knot in my hair. I actually would love to do a nursery tour. If that's something you guys would like to see, make sure you like this video right now. Give it a thumbs up. That is definitely something that I would like to do before he gets here. I have a lot of fun and creative ideas that I would like to film before the baby comes. So if that is something you would like to see, a nursery tour, please let me know, because I would love to share it with you if that's what you would like. So the next couple of questions are a lot of questions around age. And I'm going to try and talk about it as quickly as possible. However, this is something I'm very, very passionate about, so I have a lot to say. So the first question is that, how do you feel becoming a mum so young? So to me, age does not matter. There are a lot of things in life that I believe age does not matter, and there are some things in life where I believe that age kind of matters. But in terms of becoming a mum, for me, I feel like age should not matter. I'm not saying to anyone who was watching this who was like 14, 13, 15, I'm not encouraging you to go out and get pregnant. I'm not saying that at all. I definitely, even now when I am pregnant, I still tell people to this day, like, live your life, do what you want, have fun, enjoy your teens, and then get pregnant, because I still think that that is ideal. However, to me, age should not matter. I'm 19. I'm going to have a 2-month-old at my 20th. And to me, it doesn't really affect it at all. To me, what's the most important thing about becoming a parent is that you mentally are ready to become a parent, and I feel mentally ready to become a parent. I think I'm going to be okay. 2, I'm in a super healthy, stable relationship. Aiden and I have been engaged for a year. We got engaged before we even knew that we were pregnant. Months before I even was pregnant. And so we've been engaged. We've been together for almost 5 years. And our relationship is super stable. We've lived together for almost 5 years, on and off, but we've lived together for almost 5 years. And so my relationship is super stable. I am very, very happy. I think that mine and Aiden's relationship is great. I wouldn't say that it's perfect, because no relationship is perfect, but I definitely feel comfortable in Aiden and mine's relationship, and I know that me and Aiden are going to spend a lot of time together, and he's the person I'm going to marry and spend the rest of my life with. I have no questions about it, no doubts at all. And so to me, you know, we have a lot of support around us. We have a lot of family support and friend support and that kind of thing. And so I feel like those are the main things that happen. We don't live at home. We live in a rental. We, you know, are adults. We pay our own bills. We know how to do all of that. So I feel like we're pretty set and we're ready to have a kid. Could we have waited a little bit longer? Maybe. But again, like I said, things happen for a reason. There's a reason that I'm the age that I am and that I'm pregnant. And so I don't really like to question it too much. I feel like as long as you have a stable relationship and you have a stable home and you are happy with where you are, you're happy with who you are as a person, I think that that is all you really need. Like, I don't really see how age matters. To me, it doesn't matter if you're 40 and want to have your child for the first time. It doesn't matter if you're 19 and want to have your child for the first time. I think as long as you know that you're going to bring in your child into the best possible environment, then that's all that matters. Like I said, I know that we have so much support and we have so much help and we're not alone. And so I have literally no issues with my age at all. So to me, it's the same as any mum. It does not impact the way that I feel being pregnant. And in fact, one of the questions somebody asked was, do you think pregnancy would feel different if you were older? And to be honest, after experiencing pregnancy and, you know, just how much physical strain it has on your body, I don't know if I could be like 40. And if you are 40 and watching this and you've had kids at 40, hats off to you. Like, I'm so thankful. Sorry, I got a phone call. I've literally had 2 phone calls while I'm filming, but every time I'm not filming, no one ever calls me. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. I've just finished my hair as well, by the way. But yeah, I think overall, I forgot what I was saying now as well. I was talking about the question, would I feel different if I was older during pregnancy? And honestly, the physical strain and stuff that it has on my body, I don't know if I could be 40 and be pregnant, because my back is sore now. I couldn't imagine already being like, you know, my bones are being a bit more brittle and that kind of thing. I couldn't imagine that and being in pain at the same time. But hats off, and I'm super proud of anyone who has been 40 or, you know, has been older and been pregnant. I'm super happy for you. But yeah, I think that I physically couldn't do it because my back hurts now and I'm 19. I couldn't imagine holding this much weight and having a sore back and that when I was a bit older. So, but yeah, again, to me, I feel like age should not matter. It really shouldn't be, we really shouldn't question it. I think the stigma around teen pregnancy really shouldn't exist. To me, if you're stable, you're in a good relationship, you're comfortable, you think that it's the right time, who are they to say that you can't? And I really think that we should just stop bullying people that are teen mums and calling them all these different names under the sun. People that are pregnant at any age are so strong. Like, women are so strong to be able to do what they're doing, and their bodies are incredible to be able to be going through what they're going through. And yeah, I think we should just stop. I'm so passionate about this. I could literally talk about it for ages. But overall, no, I don't think age matters. I don't think it's impacted me at all. And yeah, I really don't think age should be a question in pregnancy. I don't think people should question whether or not you're going to be a good parent based on your age. I think they should question that based on what you do. That's just my opinion. So this is the final look. I'm just gonna pick one. So this is the final look. It's just a natural look. Again, like I said, I'm literally not going anywhere. I'm probably going to go eat something because I'm pretty hungry, and then I'm probably going to jump in the shower, take this all off, and I will not look like this in the next hour. This was just a little fun for me to do, but it has been very therapeutic and fun for me. I've enjoyed it. But yeah, this is the final look. Just straightened hair. I've just got some like brown eyeshadow on. Pretty relaxed, casual look, but I like it. I feel like a human for once, actually having makeup on and my hair done. Feel like an actual human. And again, this is not what I look like ever. And I literally never put makeup on. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit of a long one, but I hope you guys got to know a little bit more about me and my pregnancy journey and have enjoyed the video. I will see you guys next week with a brand new video. If you guys haven't already, go follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle will be down in the description down below. Go follow me, go check it out. You guys can keep up to date with my day-to-day life there on Instagram. I post there quite a lot. And also, if you ever want to be involved in any Q&As or anything like that I do in the future, you guys should definitely follow me on Instagram. Definitely turn on that post notification bell if you want to know when I'm posting on YouTube. If you're not subscribed and you don't have post notifications on, you won't know that I've uploaded. But I will see you guys next week with a brand new video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week.